Miyamoto Mushashi, who lived in Japan in the 16th and 17th centuries and was renowned for his extraordinary swordsmanship and martial arts abilities, wrote Dakoto, a collection of 21 rules for life. He was said to have won more than 60 fights without losing. Musashi is also considered as a master of strategy and tactics, and his book Dakoto is still read and studied today as a classic work on strategy, tactics, and the martial arts not just in Japan but all around the world. Musashi was a brilliant craftsman and artist who was well known for his paintings and calligraphy in addition to his prowess with a sword and in martial arts. Here are some of the most important takeaways from Dakoto. Dakoto's first tenet is to accept everything just as it is. This idea urges people to accept reality as it is without trying to alter it or fight against it. It is proposed that while acceptance can offer calm and tranquility, resistance and complaints might result in pain and negativity. The theory proposes viewing the world objectively and not being swayed by one's feelings or ideas. Acceptance does not imply resignation or passivity, rather, it is being conscious of the circumstances and accepting them as they are. It entails accepting that certain things are out of our control and putting our attention on what we can, such our own thoughts and deeds. We may avoid being connected to a certain result and instead appreciate the current moment by accepting things as they are. Since we are no longer constrained by our wish for things to be different, this might result in a feeling of independence and liberation. This idea also implies that acceptance might lead to a deeper respect for and knowledge of the world we live in. We may perceive things more clearly and appreciate their underlying nature when we are not fighting reality. Given that we are not attempting to alter the world, but rather comprehending and accepting it as it is, this might result in a feeling of calm and happiness. To sum up, the first Dakoto principle urges people to accept reality as it is and live in the present. We may achieve peace and happiness in our lives by putting aside opposition and complaints and concentrating on acceptance. This idea advocates being conscious of the circumstances, concentrating on what we can manage, and avoiding allowing our own beliefs or feelings to guide us. We may view the world more clearly and appreciate it for what it really is if we accept things as they are. Dakoto's second tenet is don't pursue pleasure for pleasure's sake. This concept highlights the idea that genuine satisfaction requires a balance between pleasure and discipline, and that pleasure and fleeting happiness shouldn't be the ultimate objective in life. According to the idea, seeking pleasure for its own sake might result in unhappiness and frustration because it is frequently ephemeral and transient. This idea urges people to put their attention on a sense of fulfillment and purpose as opposed to pursuing pleasure alone. A sense of contentment and happiness that extends beyond fleeting pleasure may be experienced when one finds meaning and purpose in life. People may maintain their motivation and attention even in the face of difficulties and hurdles if they have a strong sense of purpose and direction. Additionally, pursuing pleasure for its own sake may result in a feeling of emptiness and unfulfillment. Finding a feeling of meaning and purpose might be challenging when pleasure is the main objective. This might lead to a cycle of unending pleasure-seeking without success. On the other side, those who are motivated and have a sense of direction can be happy and content in their pursuits, regardless of the result. The second Dakoto principle argues, in conclusion, that pursuing pleasure for its own sake might result in unhappiness and frustration. The idea urges people to strike a balance between enjoyment and restraint and to put their attention on a sense of fulfillment rather than only enjoying themselves. People can discover fulfillment and happiness that go beyond fleeting pleasure by having a strong sense of purpose and direction. Dakoto's third tenet is be detached from desire your whole life long. This concept promotes the idea of putting inner peace and satisfaction above connection to material belongings and wants. According to the concept, attachment in one can cause misery and unpleasant feelings since they frequently include a persistent yearning for more or apprehension about losing what we already have. Being conscious of your wants and resisting the need to become emotionally connected to them is what it means to be detached from them. People can lessen anxiety and tension and find peace and satisfaction in the present by letting go of attachment. Additionally, detachment enables people to concentrate on what matters most in life rather than letting wants and outside forces dictate their actions. Detachment from desire can also result in a feeling of freedom and liberty. We are not constrained by the drive to obtain more or the worry of losing what we have when we are not tied to worldly belongings or wants. As a result, there may be a sense of calm and serenity since we aren't continually looking for more or attempting to keep what we already have. The third and final rule of Dakoto advises people to remain free of attachment and desire. Be content with what you have, you'll be better off, is the fourth Dakoto tenet. According to this concept, which highlights the value of thankfulness and satisfaction, people may discover pleasure and fulfillment by being grateful for what they already have. According to the idea, desiring more all the time and never being satisfied might result in unhappiness and unfavorable feelings, yet being content can offer serenity and contentment. Becoming appreciative for what one has and appreciating the present moment are better ways to be happy with what one has rather than being complacent or giving up on personal development. Instead than concentrating on what one lacks, it entails appreciating the abundance in one's life and being content with what one has. As people aren't always pursuing or attempting to gain more, this might promote calmness and contentment. Furthermore, satisfaction may provide one's life a feeling of perspective and balance. When we are happy with what we have, we are unaffected by other forces and free to concentrate on what is genuinely essential. As a result, people may have more clarity and purpose in their lives since they aren't continually seeking improvement or comparing themselves to others. The fourth and final rule of Dakota urges people to be happy with what they have. According to the notion, always wanting more might result in unhappiness and unfavorable feelings, whereas being content can offer serenity and contentment. Recognizing the plenty in one's life, finding happiness in the here and now, and finding delight in what one has are all necessary components of being pleased with what one has. Do not chase the taste of delicious food is the fifth Dakota tenet. Especially with relation to food and drink, this guideline highlights the idea of avoiding excess and overindulgence. According to the idea, indulging in delicious cuisine to its fullest extent might have a detrimental effect on one's health and general well-being. People can maintain a healthy lifestyle and avoid adverse health effects by avoiding overindulgence. It is crucial to consume wholesome foods in moderation and to stay away from eating too many harmful foods. This can enhance energy levels, support good weight maintenance, and shield against diseases like diabetes and heart disease. Avoiding overeating has several health advantages, but it may also help one feel more disciplined and in control of their life. We may have a healthy connection with food when we have control over the foods we eat and are not continually searching for foods that taste good. As we are no longer under the sway of our appetites and needs, this can boost our confidence and sense of empowerment. Do not cling on to items you no longer need, is the sixth Dakota tenet. This principle places a strong emphasis on the idea of giving up material items that are no longer helpful or essential. According to the guiding principle, keeping goods we no longer need might clutter our lives and cause us to lose focus on what's really essential. Our lives can become simpler and clearer when we let go of things we no longer need. It may clear up space both literally and emotionally by removing clutter. As we are not continuously surrounded by extra items and distractions, this can foster a sense of serenity and quiet. Furthermore, letting go of things we no longer need may be a kind of self-care and can re-energize and revitalize us. Furthermore, feeling grateful and pleased might come from letting go of things we no longer need. We become more conscious of what we have and are able to be satisfied with what we have when we are not continuously collecting more and clinging on to belongings we no longer need. This can increase our sense of gratitude for what we already have and enhance our general well-being. The sixth and final Dakota concept urges people to part with goods they no longer need. According to the idea, clinging on to things we no longer need may clutter our lives and keep us from focusing on what is really essential, while letting go of these things can make our lives feel simpler and clearer. People may eliminate clutter, create a sense of calm and serenity, and discover thankfulness and happiness in what they already have by letting go of things they no longer need. Be indifferent to where you reside is the seventh Dakota tenet. This concept places a strong emphasis on the idea of separation from worldly belongings and other factors, including one's location of residence. According to the concept, being overly concerned with where we live might cause us to feel unhappy and depressed, but being unconcerned with our place of residence can give us a feeling of independence and liberty. People can liberate themselves from connection to material stuff and outside conditions by living indifferently. People may feel liberated and free as a result since they are not constrained by their environment or material goods. Additionally, as people aren't constantly comparing themselves to others or striving for more, being indifferent to where one lives may also provide them a sense of perspective and balance. A sense of flexibility and adaptability may also be brought by not caring where one lives. We have the freedom to roam about and alter our environment whenever we need to when we are not bound to one location. Because they are no longer constrained by their environment and have the flexibility to adjust to changing situations, people may feel liberated and free as a result.